What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Frank Warren. Frank Warren has declared this. He has declared that Tyson Fury has no plans of fighting Dillian Whyte in 2020 or 2021. Wow. We knew and learned of Tyson not wanting to fight Dillian Whyte this year. But he's declared he has no plans to fight him in 2020 or 2021. The WBC reaffirmed last week that Whyte is mandatory for the winner of Fury versus Wilder 3, which see him get his shot early next year. However, the Gypsy King has previously made it clear after Wilder he has his sights on Anthony Joshua. When asked about the topic, Fury's UK promoter Warren said he ain't fighting Dillian Whyte. That ain't happening this year. And I've got to tell you, next year it ain't gonna happen. Wow. Okay. Because all he wants to fight, he wants to fight Anthony Joshua. Let's all be honest. If we were in the pub and said, what do you want? Do you want to see Tyson Fury versus Whyte, or do you want to see him fight AJ? It's a no-brainer. So let's get this on. No one stands in the way of that. Let's get that on. And then, while Dillian Whyte is waiting for his opportunity, fight Daniel Dubois. And then the winner can fight him, Fury. There is a rule under the WBC that allows for special bouts to sometimes take priority over mandatory challengers. However, due to the controversy surrounding Whyte's wait for a title shot, it's unclear whether they would put him on hold once again to permit Fury versus Joshua to take place. If the WBC enforces Whyte's mandatory, then Fury would have to vacate his title in order to face AJ instead. Therefore, the bout's undisputed, holding up the bout's undisputed status. Warren continued, would we like to see him fight him and Joshua with all the belts? Absolutely. But if a belt's not on the line, who gives a shit? It's the fight that we want to see. Let me stop right there. You know who gives a shit, Frank Warren? Anthony Joshua. See, the minute Fury, he starts to say, or talks plans of vacating that WBC belt, what's going to happen? That fight's going to automatically lose value. Now, it'll still be a nice UK showdown, but in all, you're trying to vacate a fight to avoid a certain fighter. But the question is, why? Why are you trying to do that when Tyson Fury clearly said earlier this year, after the Wilder fight, I have to fight Wilder again, then I'll fight Joshua, then I'll fight Whyte. But according to this, he doesn't want to fight Whyte at all. He just wants to fight Joshua. Like, why would you do that when you know it's a certain protocol and you know everything surrounding Dillian Whyte? And he said it himself, that Dillian Whyte deserves the opportunity for the mandatory spot. So that means he deserves it only if you don't have it. That means you don't have to, if you have the WBC belt, that rule doesn't apply to you. That's what I'm hearing. And then Warren saying, oh, well, nobody gives a shit about the WBC. That's a lie. Because it wouldn't mean much as people think it is. Now, maybe the money might be there if they still have that Saudi Arabia deal with the $400 million or something like that. But then if you're not the champion, that could hold up, because on Joshua's end, he's been after that WBC for a long time, you see. So it's not one of them situations where, oh, well, Tyson Fury is like Floyd Mayweather. The belts don't make me. I said it before. The belts don't make me, right? I don't think he's in that situation. Now, he could always say, hey, I'm the lineal champ. I'm the Ring Magazine champ, and all that. He could say that. He could claim that. He could still market that. But without that WBC, I think that stops a lot. And it also shows that people are trying to duck Whyte. And this is the one scary thing I think of. Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, working together. That's a bad sign, because this is like the second or third time you've heard Frank Warren say, I think he should fight Daniel Dubois. Well, why would he want to do that if he's a mandatory? Right? So that's almost like what Floyd did with Keith Thurman back in the day. Fight Errol Spence like out of nowhere. Like, who the hell is Errol Spence at that time? He was a nobody. He was a tough kid that he sparred with that Floyd did, and Floyd knew, you know what? I'm going to throw this guy in the way of Keith Thurman. Make him jump over that hurdle. And that was a tall hurdle to jump over. And Frank Warren's still trying to do the same thing. The scary part about it is Eddie Hearn, in working with Frank Warren, may agree to do that because they, promoters, they're going for the money. So they might throw Dillian Whyte once again under the bus because we know Mauricio Sulaiman ain't doing shit right now. He ain't doing anything to, hey, if the WBC enforces Whyte's mandatory. They didn't say they will. They didn't say he will. Mauricio said, "You're not putting words in my mouth." Right? That's what they said. And they said that because he doesn't know, because he doesn't run shit, obviously. He wants to go where the money is. So he wants to see what's big, what's hot, what's more profitable at the time. If it ain't Whyte, we're damn the mandatory. We don't believe in that shit and protocol and rules and regulations anyway. So we're not even going to enforce that. If the WBC enforces. No, they're not going to enforce it. Okay? But if they do, and Tyson Fury drops that belt that tells you everything about Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte. That means that Tyson Fury don't want any part of Dillian Whyte before taking on the big mega bucks with Joshua. He don't want to take that type of risk. Hook, line, and sinker. Counterpunch. Because this guy, you've said, I'd fight Dillian Whyte. Okay, he deserves a challenge. But then yet you're not trying to give him one? What's that about? So again, if they're thinking about dropping this fight, they might be in for a rude awakening because Joshua is after the belts. Now, here's the thing. If Joshua goes heads and fights Tyson Fury without that WBC belt, given it's stripped, that means that you could read that maybe Anthony Joshua's not concerned about the WBC belt anymore. Because he's already two-time unified champion. I get it, but then you can't run the narrative and you can't make people believe that you want the WBC belt because that's another scattered belt out there and that's why you was chasing Wilder or whatever because Wilder had it. Well, Wilder don't have it no more. Tyson Fury has it now. Tyson Fury's not trying to fight his mandatory, so if Tyson Fury gets stripped and you fight Tyson Fury anyway, right? I know he's undefeated. It's still a marketable fight, but hey, at the end of the day, it's not an undisputed fight. Okay? So all you could really do, you don't have really basically enough reward for fighting Fury at that point. Yeah, he's lineal, he's this, again, a good Britain fight, a good British fight, great UK fight. But all in all, would that be enough? Him being the lineal champ. See here's the belt. It's invisible, right? Would that be enough for Anthony Joshua to jump? Now, if Anthony Joshua says, nah, that would have been expected, and that shows where and what Anthony Joshua really wants. And it'll show without a doubt that, hey, I want to be undisputed. So if Tyson Fury don't have that belt, hey, don't come with 50-50. Why would I come with 50-50 and you don't even have a belt? So, and I would back Anthony Joshua for that because there's no reason that Tyson Fury shouldn't fight Dillian Whyte. Counterpunch. But anyway, that's my take on it. You guys tell me what you think about Frank Warren's statements. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.